The views and opinions expressed by the guest author or speaker during this live session are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Reader's Magnet. The content shared is for informational purposes only and does not constitute endorsement or promotion of any particular belief, ideology, or product.
Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to the RM Hive. You are tuning into Reader's Magnet's featured author interview. I am your host, Brittany, and today we have a very special guest. He is the author of African American Health, peeling back the layers for a vision of the future. Everybody, let us all welcome Dr. William Lawson. So, hello, Dr. William Lawson. I'll be doing a short short introduction for you. Dr. Lawson is a
Mhm.
distinguished psychiatrist, founder of the Institute for Reducing Disparities, and president of Senior Psychiatrists. He is a professor at George Washington University and the University of Maryland with over 200 publications. Recognized nationally, he leads efforts to address mental health disparities and holds key research and leadership roles in psychiatry. So, Dr. Lawson, how are we doing today?
Very well, thank you.
All right. So, shall we begin the interview?
Yes.
All right. So, my first question for you, Dr. Lawson, is can you tell us what inspired you to write African American Health, peeling back the layers for a vision of the future?
Well, I think that this was a result of my looking at the efforts we've done to try to reduce the disparities in terms of health and mental health care, and looking at what can be done to bring about sustaining projects. Um, I was the editor of the Journal of the National Medical Association, and I wanted to bring together those papers that I presented, looking at these problems in one place, so that folks could look at them and use them as foundations for some future activities and future plans.
All right. So, Dr. Lawson, my next question is how did your personal or professional experiences shape the narrative of this book, which is the African American Health?
I've practiced in multiple settings. I've also been in
Mm-hmm.
academia, and I've also worked in services in state government as well as the Veterans Administration system. And I think that those experiences, which I used as the foundation for some of the writing, um, is given, I think, key perspective in terms of the problems that's facing mental health services today.
Ah, I see. So, Dr. Lawson, the title suggests a deep exploration. What does peeling back the layers mean to you in the context of African American health?
The key thing is when you look superficially in terms of whether or not we're making progress in addressing these concerns, you can there's a lot of areas of optimism. But when you peel it back, and I think the COVID epidemic helped do so, it showed that there are still persisting problems that have been re-exposed, concerns that goes back decades that really have not been adequately addressed yet.
All right. So, Dr. Lawson, what are some of the key health disparities affecting African American communities that you discuss in your book?
Well, one of the important ones is, I think part of this is depending on as a result of the work from such luminaries as Dr. David Thatcher, who's been, and Dr. Joyce and others who served as surgeon generals and who noted persistent disparities in terms of life expectancy and outcomes for African Americans. Um, so that's it to the next step of saying, well, maybe this is applicable to mental health services as well. So in my book, the journal does cover across disciplines my own role as a psychiatrist, that I was amazed to find that some of the concerns I saw in terms of problems in mental health delivery services existed in primary care and specialty areas. So um, they are persisting problems that exist across disciplines. And perhaps if we look at these as a whole, perhaps we can find solutions that can be cross-disciplinary to address the concerns that, frankly, continue to persist.
All right. So, Dr. Lawson, your book's subtitle, rather, speaks of a vision of the future. So, what does a healthier, more equitable future look like for you for African Americans?
I mean, first, no doubt part of it was, of course, peeling back the layers, and it came from the
Mm-hmm.
observation that people love, and love was great. When you roll it over, you find the moss underneath, the little worms crawling, and find the problems that exist. But on the other hand, you can also look at it as laying the framework, putting in terms of looking at nature, as putting in the fertilizer for a brighter day and for brighter outcomes. So I think we're right now beginning to lay the framework for substantial change and for making about sustainable improvements in terms of reducing disparities in health and mental health care.
Yes. So, Dr. Lawson, were there any findings during your research that surprised you or deeply moved you?
Not so much as a surprise, so much as being disturbed that despite decades of efforts, many of these issues continue to
Yes.
persist. The shortage of ethnic minority and racial minority providers, the limited access to services where people are actually living, the problem of diagnosis and underdiagnosis and misdiagnosis, the lack of access to basic health care and mental health care services.
Yeah.
These are persisting issues that were identified a while back and continue to persist despite tremendous efforts in many ways, financing, politically, and as well as
Yes.
by direct providers try to address these concerns.
I agree because healthcare is a vital part of our lives and everyone should have access to it, right, Dr. Lawson?
Absolutely, and it's
Yes.
been recognized for a long time. And I think the
Mm-hmm.
COVID reminded us that you can't really deal and treat one small group of people and hope that that's going to lead to solutions. What we find is that diseases cut across all racial, ethnic, and age groups. We can't just treat
Yes.
one group of people and not leave others untreated because these problems will spread across populations.
Yes. So, Dr. Lawson, next question is, who is this book written for and what do you hope readers will take away from the book?
Well, I wrote it for young adults, but my hope is that we find that the 10th graders, when many folks decide whether or not they're going to go into the health care profession, and I hope I can, some of them will be able to take a look at it and get excited by it. And I hope that our young people today will look at the
Yes.
issues that have persisted and they can build on and do something about it. And also, I
Yes.
think those of us who are elderly will be able to look back at this and say, these are issues that were developed when we were coming along, and maybe we can do something because we may have some solutions.
Hold on. Hello?
Hello,
Oh, there seems to be
reason.
a little bit of a technical issue, but oh, it's all right now. So,
Yeah.
Dr. Lawson, my next question is, if you could have every medical student or public health official read one chapter of your book, which one would it be and why?
That's a tough question, and it's a tough question
Yes.
because I try to focus at different points throughout the book. Um, One of the initial first chapters deal with the history and the concerns that exist in terms of disparities among groups. But one issue that returned as an issue was the um, legal action to restrict research in terms of gun violence, which is surprisingly something that was recognized in the past. We're going to do something about it. We need to do the research. And then there's an article that we discussed about the tendency to exclude or for emergency room personnel uh, to try to remove people who are ethnic minorities from out of the emergency room when they're not getting services. Those are, I think, very specific instances of problems that still exist and are still a problem in our community, in many communities.
So, Dr. Lawson, what is next for you? Do you have any other upcoming projects, any advocacy work, or hopefully a follow up of this book that you've written?
And
Maybe
the
a
next
sequel?
thing is in terms of trying to understand why these disparities exist. And my next book, I actually want to go see whether or not this is something that the last 10 years, last 20 years, last 50 years, and find that there's some themes that exist that actually literally can be traced back to the slavery experience. And that is that African American slaves, um, while we put the emphasis on the importance of the technology supposedly came with bringing the African American Africans to the Western world, we tend to forget that they are also taught skills and experiences that are useful in becoming a slave. And I think that those
Hmm?
kinds of beliefs and skills still persist and actually help cause the disparities in healthcare to persist. That the slave is being a person whose primary role is to work the fields for someone else, to depend on other people to take care of them, to not have a future, to not build on scientific knowledge and right. Those are all kinds of belief systems, I think, that are still problems, and I want to explore that in my next book. Um, Basically,
Ooh,
it's going to
yeah.
be called what did the slave master teach us?
I heard next book, so we here at Readers Magnet is looking forward to that, Dr. Lawson. So, um, aside from African American health, do you have any other books that you've published already?
Sure, I did cross-cultural psychiatry, which is a
Uh huh.
collection of books that relates to the issue of ethnopsychopharmacology, and which is
Ooh,
become an issue again
yeah.
when we look at the access to medications for different racial and ethnic groups. And also, I have numerous book chapters and has over 200 publications in referee journals um, that can be readily accessed through PubMed or through Google Scholar.
So, where can we find your books? Is it available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or any other platforms?
Right now my books are available through Amazon,
Uh
and as
huh.
I said, my articles are available through Google Scholar as well as through PubMed and my own website, um, www.reducingdisparities.com, which I think is listed right below.
Yes. So, guys, you can see it on the screen. Visit Dr. Lawson's website. So, what about social media accounts, Doctor? Do you have social media accounts?
Yeah, I have social media accounts in
All right.
LinkedIn as well as um, uh, Facebook, as well as X, um,
X,
and
Twitter.
and
Twitter. That used to be
Soon
Twitter,
have
right?
one. Yeah, and soon have one on TikTok as well. I do have one on TikTok.
You have TikTok too. Cool. All right, so you've heard it, everyone. This has been such a wonderful time with you, Dr. Lawson. Thank you very much for joining us today. So, you guys, that was Dr. William Lawson, author of African American Health. The book is available on Amazon. And can you mention the other platforms again, Doctor?
And again, it's also available on through my own website,
Yes.
www.reducing-disparities.com, and also
Uh-huh.
most social media sites. They can you get through LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and soon to be TikTok.
Yes. So you've heard it, guys. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in here on Reader's Magnet. This is your host, Brittany. And as we say it here in Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the world. Thank you so much, Dr. Lawson.
Yeah.